The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon. Are you ready to dumb it down? Oh, okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. Let's dumb it down together as I drive distractedly out of the Crossgates Mall in in Albany, New York. I just did some shopping, and I just realized I went on a wrong road. That's okay. I'm headed towards I-90, but I don't want I-90. I want I-87. But I saw a sign that said 90 and 87 this way, and I jumped off a little bit too soon, and now I'm headed towards 90. So that's really irrelevant to you. It's more relevant to me as I drive around the Albany Capital District area lost. Not really good start to the podcast for a truck driver to start off his dumbcast, the fastest dumbcast on earth, talking about how lost he is. But I'll get unlost pretty quickly. I'll let you know when I get. Let's see how long it takes for me to get unlost. I know the road I'm on. I'm going to have to make a U-turn or something like that. We'll see. But anyway, where are we? It is March 3rd. I think it's March 3rd. I'm afraid to look anywhere. It feels like March 3rd. Let me see. 287 T.O. to 87. Make a right. All right. Let's see. We'll get off of here at Fuller Road, I think. And then I'll make a U-turn. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to make a U-turn on a road called Fuller Road. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go along. Yeah, that looks good. There you go. 90 west to 87. All right, there you go. I'll make a little U-turn. All right, there you go. See, sometimes that happens with Dumbing It Down with Dave. I got pulled over by the police while I've been recording. I've never got into an accident while I was recording. I haven't really done this. It hasn't been too exciting, including the content of the show while I'm recording. So now I'm in a traffic circle, which is always exciting. Nobody knows how to deal with a traffic circle. Like, what do I do? Do I go now? Do I go now? How about now? Do I go now? How about now? Now? No. How about now? Do I go now? So it's a little interesting to get into a traffic circle up here in the area when I'm dealing with people that don't. Traffic circles are new to the Albany area. They've been popping up everywhere. And I think a lot of people in New York State are just really unsure. And when you're near the mall, here you go. I'm going to say something a little bit offensive. When you're near the mall, there's a lot of women driving. I think women get intimidated entering and exiting a traffic circle. They're not really sure, like, how about now? Do I go now? Okay. So, anyway, I think today's March 3rd. It feels like March 3rd. It's Saturday. I think I wrote the number March 3rd. It could be March 2nd. It doesn't really matter. By the time you hear this, it'll be March 3rd or March 4th. And it might not even be 2019. It might be 2025. So if you are listening to this in the near or distant future, thank you. Thank you for however you're doing it, with the chip in your head or, whatever, however you're tuning in to Dumbing It Down with Dave here on Spreaker and also on iTunes, or maybe it's called Apple Podcast, or maybe it's called Space Pod or Space Talk. I don't know what it's going to be called in the years to come, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Alex Exum for doing the intro at the top of the show. That voice you hear, if you want to go back and listen to this episode again, or any of the 103 episodes, not all of them, by the way, I'm sorry, he came in a little bit later, I think about episode 20. You'll hear Alex Exum from the Exum Experience and also from alexexum.com. And from Live Talk, you'll hear the voice of Alex Exum doing the intro. He's available. You can contact him at alexexum.com to do your voice intros and outros and almost anything else relating to sound, audio editing and all that stuff. All right, there you go. All right, so I just came from the Apple Store. I bought some products. Before the Apple Store, I came from Planet Fitness. Before Planet Fitness, I came from work. So as I'm recording this, it's 12:23 on a Saturday p.m. 12:23 p.m. I have been awake since yesterday, let's say 5-ish. So I'm almost, I'm on 19 hours, maybe 19 and a half hours, something like that. So there you go. That's the way it goes. This is my first day off. I'm energized right now. I'm excited about getting things done. I love getting things done. I'm excited about going home. I'm going to My son hopefully will be there waiting for me, and we're going to do some video editing. He's agreed to help me a little bit, I think under a certain amount of duress. But I think I wore him down. And he's going to help me with Dave's Fit Life, which is great. So I had to go to the Apple store and get some cables, USB-C to SD, US Lightning to everything's to something. Why can't we just have one cord? One cord fits all. Oh, but we're Apple. We don't do Android. And listen, stop with that. Everybody get together, but we want to be proprietary. It's not important. I know it creates business because now I have to get your special cord. I can't just go to Five Below and get any crappy cord. I have to get your special cord. I get it. And by the way, I'm very happy with my iPhone 6S, which I think I've now owned for a year or 2 years. I got it off my buddy Bobby. He gave it to me for a very good price, so I'm very happy about that. Still loving it, still using it, still haven't dropped it and broke it or anything like that, Yeah, that wasn't funny. Anyway, it's a cheap effect. I don't use it a lot. I don't use it at all. That's the first time I've actually used the cheap effect in the whole time that other than my own wit, since I've been doing Dumbing It Down with Dave. Anyway, I'm going to delete that because it's there and I feel compelled to use it, Stupid. All right, I'm a moron. All right, and so before I was at the Apple store, before I was on the Thruway, before I got lost, I was at the Apple store. Before I was at the Apple store, I was at Planet Fitness. I did 45 minutes of walking. And before that, I was at work for 19 and a half hours or whatever. And before that, I was asleep in my Honda Fit. So if you want to check out Dave's Fit Life, my YouTube channel, I greatly appreciate it. Go to Dave's Fit Life at YouTube and check it out. I'm also now, I have a Dave's Fit Life page, and I have a Dave's Fit Life group. I don't know. I just created the page. A bunch of my friends who are big or knowledgeable and on the internet with. I'm always reliant on people to tell me what to do because I don't know how you find these things out. But apparently, I need to have. And I've done podcasts before when it comes to Dumbing It Down with Dave. I think I have a Dumbing It Down with Dave page, and I have a Dumbing It Down with Dave group. I don't know why you need two. Why do you need two? That's not pragmatic. And I don't know if you can hear me driving over these bumps on the Thruway, but they have these bumps. I guess they're stay-awake bumps, but they're not on the side of the road. They're actually on the road. Let me get in the middle lane. Let me see if that's smoother. Ooh, there you go. Okay. There you go. Yeah, that feels smoother. All right, so, yeah, you can check out Dumbing It Down with Dave, the like page. You can check out Dumbing It Down with Dave on Facebook and the group. The website's coming back. I don't know when, but the website will come back. It's kind of irrelevant, and I don't think I really needed it, but I think I will need it eventually. We're going to make some progress in 2019. Speaking of progress, I have news. I have good news. And by the way, this is episode 103, and this is take 6, believe it or not. Take 6. Hopefully I can get this done in the next 22 minutes, about a half hour, and I won't screw up the ending, and I won't go on and on about God knows what. I have a whole outtake. I have all these outtakes. I can't get episode 103 in. So, and hopefully we'll have time for a breather break and a couple of drink breaks. I got my green drink, not really green drink, but it's like a tablet, like an Alka-Seltzer pill that goes into a 20-ounce water bottle and becomes a green drink. So let me take a little sip. You can involve yourself in some beverage if you want right now, too. All right. That was good. All right, so let's keep on going. Good news. I want to welcome Lynn Brunette. Lynn Brunette, L-I-N-E, Brunette, B-R-U-N-E-T, Lynn Brunette, from some beautiful, beautiful spot out in the West Canada, out there in on the, I think it's still the Pacific Ocean. You know what? I didn't even look at that. But she's out there in Vancouver Island. I made a friend out in Vancouver Island. Did you know there was a Vancouver Island? I didn't know that. Did you know that this island is 5 times the size of New Jersey? Did you know it takes like 5.5 hours to go from one end to the other? I did a Google Maps test. Did you know that for you to go from Vancouver Island to the mainland of Canada, it takes you ferry and it takes an hour and a half? Who ever heard of such a place? I've never heard of this place in my life. And apparently everybody's walking around in flip-flops because they never get snow. How is that even possible? They're west of Vancouver. They're on Vancouver Island. It's an island that's 5 times the size of Jersey. Doesn't that sound like a continent? Sounds like a continent. Sounds like a country. Why isn't Vancouver Island a country? I don't know. I think it's even bigger than Vancouver itself. How can an island? That's like saying the moon of a planet is bigger than the planet. Is that even possible? So how can the island of Vancouver Island, be bigger than Vancouver? Maybe it's not. I'm learning so much. Anyway, thank you, Lynn. Lynn and I met. How did we meet, Dave? I don't know. I don't remember. She doesn't remember, and I don't remember. Somewhere on the internet we met, and she became fond of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Why would she do that, Dave? Does she listen closely? I think so. She listens closely enough that she picked up on my accent. You have an accent? Yeah, I know, right? But she seems to feel I have an accent. That's what she said. I like your accent. More specifically, she said, I like your South Australian accent. That's what she said. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, mate. No, she knows I have a Brooklyn accent. What else does she like? She likes my candidness, my pragmatism, I guess. I don't know. She likes a lot of things about me. Whatever. Not the first time I've heard that, but officially probably the second time I've heard that. And ironically, women. 2 women. Helen, my friend Helen, and now Lynn, my friend Lynn, said that they like my Brooklyn accent, and they like what I have to say. I don't know. I don't think women don't like me live. They like me better recorded. I find that fascinating. And Linda likes me too. Linda Irwood from Awesome Insanity Surfers. So women like me on the internet. And that's funny because I set out to be liked by women. I know that I need women to make my audience huge. I'm never going to attract enough men probably because I don't do sports. I do sports in a weird way that's very unsports oriented. Wow. See, this is going to be take 7 now. Forget it. I got to move on. 12 minutes into the show. Have I said anything? Lynn Brunette is vice president and head of talent discovery, amazing talent discovery. That's what I'm going to call it. She's in charge of amazing talent discovery, and she has discovered me, and she has put me on something called Mile High Radio. Mile HI Radio. Mile High Radio. She's airing an hour of Dumbing It Down with Dave, which I have decided to force myself to do 2 half-hour shows a week, which was the original premise of Dumbing It Down with Dave. I do 1 show in my car. Dumbing It Down with Dave, by the way, for those of you who are brand new and just stepping on to episode 103, and maybe you are listening in the year 2020 or 2025 or whatever, is the fastest podcast on earth, as I do it in my Honda Fit, to and from work, even though at the beginning Alex Exum says my Kia Rio. I used to have a Kia Rio. I still own it, but my wife drives it because we wanted to even out the mileage. I was doing like 600 miles a week in the Kia, and it's got like 250 or 260,000 miles on it. And here it is, I'm in the Honda Fit, and it's got 194,000 miles on it, and she only does like 2 miles a day to work. Her commute is 2 minutes. 5 minutes, 2 miles. And then she goes to Zumba. She puts miles onto Zumba, whatever. But I'm doing like 600 miles a week going to and from work, and we decided to switch cars, but we never changed the intro. That's going to change. Eventually it's going to change. Anyway, so it's the fastest podcast on earth because I'm doing this podcast right now. Let me hit the cruise control. At 75 miles an hour. I'm on the New York State Thruway, by the way. I've been on the New York State Thruway now for how many miles? I'm at the 139 mile marker. So I've been on it for 10 minutes now since I got on. I made that U-turn back there. And I do this to and from work, and I have this random thoughts, stream of consciousness podcast. And it's that simple. So she's airing it. I usually do a half-hour show. Early on, the first couple of episodes, whatever, I had all different lengths. I didn't really care. I wasn't really measuring the lengths of shows, but I got to a point where I realized, a half an hour is enough of Dave. Really, 10 minutes is enough of Dave, but I think a half hour, when I have something to talk about, I can get it in pretty much in a half an hour. Anyway, so that's the premise of the show, is to do it during my commute to and from work. And I wanted to do 1 episode going to work at the beginning of the week, and then 1 episode at the end of the week on the way home to kind of get a feel for my mental well-being. When I go in, I'm usually a little bit rested. First day, I got some sleep, maybe. Sleep is a big issue with me and all that other good stuff. I usually don't get enough sleep ever in my whole life. And then on the way back, I'm usually so fatigued, I'm yawning. There's a lot of shows where I'm just yawning. There's shows where I fall asleep and I'm on the rumble strips. Really, it's horrible. It's very painful to listen to. I don't suggest you go back to the first 80 or so episodes, but if you want to, go ahead. I wouldn't go to episode 1. I'd start from this episode and work your way back to episode 102 and 102 part 2. I would do that. Valentine's Day is Dumb. I would listen to that. That was pretty good. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm usually complaining about a pain in my head. I'm complaining about how tired I am. I'm complaining about a lot of things. I don't usually have a lot of good things to say. Anyway, that's the original premise of the show. So, doing this hour on Mondays from, I think it's 11 to 12. I think it's 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time zone that is where you are. You know, I wasn't prepared to do the homework. But when she told me 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, that worked for me because I was already in the Eastern Standard Time. You know, you're going to have to do the math. Figure it out. You know, 1 hour at a time. I have no idea how it works. There's probably like a Google Eastern Standard Time conversion table. Probably, right? Probably. Anyway, but it's an hour, and I'm going to do 2 half-hour shows. I'm going to try to end this on a half an hour, and then I'm going to do another show, whether I do it right after this or I'll do it later in the week, and that'll be another half-hour show. So, and I should have had this show done a week ago when I had 3 things of good news to tell you, and I screwed up the show. I screwed up like 6 takes, 5 or 6 takes. It was awful. All right, so I'm on Mile High Radio. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much. And Bobby Guarente, who's the owner of Mile High Radio. He took it over, I don't know how many years ago, and the place was a shambles. It was peeling paint. There was no signal. The tower was bent over. It was leaning like the tower piece. The place was a shambles. You should have seen it. I didn't see it. I'm just making this all up. But Bobby Guarente got in there, and he's from New Jersey. That's exciting because I'm from New York, so we're neighbors. He's not that far away from me. Hopefully we'll get together. Bobby, if you're listening, I hope we get together. Lynn, if you're listening, which I assume you are, because you like my accent, you'll hook us up. Me and Bobby go on a coffee date, a coffee run. Well, or maybe he'll take me out to a nice prime rib restaurant. I'm just saying, you know, because I'm new talent. You like to take care of your talent. And he doesn't have to fly. We could just meet somewhere in New Jersey at the statewide diner on Route 17. Or there's a million diners in Jersey probably. But, you know, whatever. I'll have eggs. 2 eggs over easy with some buttered toast and, you know, some hash browns with a coffee. I'm an easy date. And it'd be nice to hang out with Bobby Guarente, the owner of Mile High Radio. And Bobby has some other stuff that's going on. He's been broadcasting for a long time. He does a sports thing, and he's, you know, whatever. It's craziness what Bobby's got going on. Thank you, Bobby, for letting me, for buying this place when it was in shambles and building it up to the great internet radio station that it is. Mile High, milehighradio.com. It's 24/7, and it's got a whole bunch of shows. It's a myriad of selection of shows, a cacophony of sound. Who knows if I'm using these words right? Myriad and cacophony. I shouldn't go there, but I did. I want to sound intelligent. I know I'm not, but I give it a shot. If you like myriad and you like cacophony, I made you happy. It's got a special blend of shows. It's all over the place. So they don't do live yet. I'm pushing for live. I might go live on my own, folks. I might just go live on my own. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but you know, it's a possibility. I'm learning how to do live. I went live, as some of you know, on Live Talk, as I substituted for Alex Exum, as he was on vacation for a couple of days, and then he was sick for a day. He got sick on vacation. He got sick at the airport, I think. So I did an extra day of Live Talk. I enjoyed it. I want to do more. I got to figure out the Skype situation with the Spreaker studio, and then I'm going to go live probably on Sundays, like Sunday nights, like 10 to midnight. Again, Eastern Standard Time. You'll have to do the conversion and do the math and the homework on your own time at home. I have no idea. All right, there you go. That's a possibility. Not exactly going to happen anytime too soon. All right, so that was the good news. I got picked up. I'm syndicated. That means I'm syndicated. Look at me. Big shot. All syndicated. I guess I should start looking for more. I mean, I used to be on Comedy Pipe when I had that agreement with Mike Smith. I used to plug Pipe Dream on Comedy Pipe, and then he would play my show. Does he still do that? I don't know. We have to talk about it. What else is there? I didn't exactly get a big bump from Comedy Pipe and Pipe Dreams, but that's okay. It's good to help out a friend, and a friend's helping out me. And Mike and I go way back, you know, in my early comedy days. What was the other good news? Oh, here was great news. All right, 19 minutes and 38 seconds. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a quick sip of this green drink, and we're going to take a breather. Let's take a breather. You know why? Because we should. It's not a commercial. It doesn't really do anything for the show, except gives us a little pause. We need to pause. All All right? So here's what we do. I take 3 deep breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth. And deeper as it goes on. Breath 1, breath 2, breath 3. Why do I do it? Because I do it in real life. I take breaths. I like to meditate and take breaths. I could play a commercial if I had a commercial. I don't have a commercial. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We should be done in about 45 seconds, maybe a minute. I'm not even sure how long it takes for me to do with the breather break. Let's do a breather break. You can do it with me. You don't have to. It's all voluntary. But I think you feel better after you take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, deeper as we go on. You want to hold it at the top and then release, exhale through the mouth. And we'll do 3. Ready? Here we go. Clear your nose first. Make sure. We've had some problems on the show. You want to make sure that your nostrils are clear. You can go back to like episode 75 or 76, I think. I did a show with Bobby Massey, and I think my nose blew up all over the place. It was so gross. All right, here we go. Ready? And breathe. All right, that was one breath. That was good, right? Not bad. I mean, how bad could it be, right? Unless you got problems. If that was bad, you got problems. You need to. This is this. Thank God for this episode. Here we go. Breath number 2. Usually I just push the air out through my mouth, but that time I did the thing. You got options how to exhale. All right, that's 2 breaths. Not bad, right? And I held it a little bit longer the second breath than I did the first breath. All right, final breath. Breath number 3. We're going to complete the breather break in through the nose, out through the mouth, and really breathe deeply as much as possible. Inhale, and then hold it, and then we'll exhale. Ready? Let's do it together. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I love it when the rib cage expands. I love it. And then I go from a size 2XL to a 3XL. I love it when I expand my rib. I can feel it. I can feel the ribs. All right, there you go. How do you feel? You feel better? That only took 2 minutes. It took about 2 minutes, and that breather break was brought to you by Air. Anywhere in the world that there's air, it's free. You should breathe it. Pretty much everywhere in the world, air is clean and free. And if you want to be clean and free, you should take a breather break as well. Thanks for doing that with me, folks. And, I don't have to give you a code for breathing, because it's free. It's where you are right now. It's a good place to be breathing. All right. And you should appreciate it, too. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. You can't ask them because they're not breathing, and also to be breathing on your own is fantastic. To control your breath, to know that you can actually do that. You have the power to say, I'm going to inhale right now, and then I'm going to exhale. That's an amazing thing. You probably take it for granted. But on this show, we don't take it for granted. One of the subtitles of the show is Dumbing It Down with Dave, Pragmatism, Truth, Happiness, and the Search for It All. And I could add a million things to that. Truth, happiness, the search for it all, pragmatism, truth, happiness, the search for it all. I can add mindfulness. I can add integrity. I can add not taking things for granted. I could take so many, we could really have a long subtitle. But all the things that are good, I'm trying to do things that are good. Inside my body, I'm a little rotten. I have issues. I have anger issues. I have all this anxiety. I have all these, like everybody else. Nothing different from you. Anyway. But I like to work it out, so I do Dumbing It Down with Dave. Okay, let's go to the good news. Other than Mile High Radio, milehighradio.com, every Monday, 11 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, you'll probably get 2 half-hour episodes of Dumbing It Down with Dave. You might get a 40-minute episode and a 20-minute episode. You might get a 50-minute episode and a 10-minute episode. I don't know. I've never done that, really, but I'm going to try to do 2 30-minute episodes. This episode already, I can tell, is going to go too long. All right, Dave, get to it. All right, let's get to it. Second piece of good news. I passed my D.O.T. physical. Did I mention that previously, that I was worried about passing? Yes, I was worried about passing my Department of Transportation, government-run organization that doesn't do anything, folks. They don't do anything except put truck drivers out of work. They make people's lives miserable. But Dave, if you're unhealthy, don't you deserve to fail? No, because they don't do anything. The test has no integrity. They don't check you for hernias anymore. They used to. The big thing is the blood pressure. That's the big thing. The big thing is blood pressure. And I had 138/78 the other day. But by the way, does that mean that I'm healthy? No, I'm 290 some odd pounds. And is my blood pressure 138/78 every day? No. Every day it's much higher. 140/90 is the fail. Anything over 140 over 90 is fail. But Dave, how did you get 138 over 78? You're always higher. Because I worked it. I worked the program. All right? I did some things that most people wouldn't do. First of all, I ate the right foods. For like a whole week, I ate all the right foods and all this other stuff. And I drank a lot of apple cider vinegar. And listen, I may or may not have taken. This is, by the way, theater of the mind. So anybody who wants to call the D.O.T. and get me in trouble, I'm just saying theater of the mind. I may or may have not. And it doesn't matter because I've passed. I may or may have not taken an extra lisinopril pill, 20 milligrams, right before my blood pressure test. Also, I had people Reiki. People were Reikiing me. I had people Reiki me. From 50 miles away, they were Reikiing me. Do you know what Reiki is? I don't know either, but it's like a healing. It's like a spiritual healing. I had people doing it from 2 people from 50 miles away. I was drinking apple cider vinegar like crazy. I meditated 10 minutes when I got off of when I woke up, and then I did another 20 minutes right before I went in. Big time meditation. Big time apple cider vinegar. A lot of deep breathing. I was doing deep breathing all week. I was just driving around going like this. Doing that all night long in a truck. All night long. You should try that. It lowers your BP. Ready? Really? Wow, I am breathing better than I was a year ago. You'll hear some early breathers, taking some early breather breaks in the show. I forget what episodes. I'm not breathing well at all. I mean, I got really concerned for myself that somehow I was not breathing right. And you'll hear it. You'll hear it. I can't take long breaths like this one. This one's long. Listen. Count it. Ready? Go. That was like 4 seconds in either direction. Something like that. I used to only be able to do 3 seconds, or I could do 4 seconds, but it wouldn't be like a deep breath. My breaths are really deeper now. All right, 27 minutes into the show. I got to make sure we get to that. So I passed my DOT physical. On the episode that I didn't air, I did like 30 minutes, a whole 30 minutes on how the DOT physical is a bunch of baloney. And it is a bunch of baloney. They don't really care about your condition. They just care about making $150 a pop every time somebody shows up to get a DOT physical so they could drive. And if you do fail 140 over 90, they'll make you come back. There's actually other criteria. They'll make you come back within a year. But I passed, so I don't have to come back for 2 years. And that makes me so happy. This is 2 DOT physicals in a row that I've finagled it where I only have to come back in every 2 years. It's a pain in the butt to go to this place and sit in that stupid waiting room, fill out the stupid paperwork, and then they don't even give you a hearing test anymore. I used to go to a soundproof booth. We don't do that anymore. They do the whisper test where you turn and face the wall, and this person, doctor or nurse's physician, apparently is trained and an expert on whispering. Do you believe that? I don't. I think that's a bunch of bull. No, but who's trained to whisper? Anyway, so this year they didn't do the whisper test. This year they checked my hernia outside my pants. They've been doing that lately. And, you touch your toes. Big deal. Big deal. You know what? I know a lot of really dangerous, unhealthy, mentally unstable, unintelligent truck drivers who are toothless and brainless. And guess what? They pass their physicals. They pass their physicals. And they don't care whether they have to come back in a year or 2 years. They don't care. But it doesn't. You understand what I'm saying, folks? For $150, you know what you find out? Nothing. You find out nothing. That's not the conscious way of doing it. That's not the mindful way of getting truck drivers healthy so they can drive safely. Anyway, so I can go on and on. I did in one of my outtake episodes. I'm not going to do that right now. So I passed my DOT physical. I'm thrilled about that. I have 40 some odd seconds. What was the last thing I did? Oh, it's a kind of a small detail for you, or a non-existent detail for you, but a large detail for me. We're going to end the show in about 30 some odd seconds. We're going to definitely do a half-hour show. I got all my domain names back. I had all these domain names. They were being held hostage by a friend of mine, not maliciously. It was just a lazy thing. I'm not even sure. But I got 7 of my domain names back. Dumbing It Down with Dave is one of them. Done with Dave is another one. All right, 15 seconds. Let's go. Let's say goodbye the right way. Hopefully I won't screw this up. I screwed this up last episode. I don't want to screw it up again. All right, let's say goodbye. Glad you were listening. Goodbye. Good day. Good night. Good luck. Good riddance. Godspeed. good rats, and great skills. Yeah, under 30 minutes. Bye.